Hey everybody, welcome to the weekly roundup. I am Nat Daddy. We go over, or I grab about 10 or so books of the new releases this week that I thought were a little interesting, stuff that kind of pops out or maybe might get missed because they're a little bit more of an indie book in that, but we'll do a review of those. Got our FOC dates for the week as well. Let's jump into it, but before that, I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, 204 Comics out of Winnipeg here. Local comic book store. That's where I get my books and that. Great place in that. That's where I also do the FOC dates from. So if you don't want to miss any of these amazing new books that have been coming out for the last few weeks or so, and a lot of people are paying higher prices on the secondary market afterwards because they couldn't get the brand new book that day. Definitely do your FOC pull list and try to do it through your local comic book store. Support them as much as possible. Like I said, we use 204 Comics, and they have a web store online as well for lots of amazing back issues as well too. Also, of course, we have ourselves. We have our exclusives. Quite a few exclusives there still. Hopefully, getting a few more in the upcoming new year as well. Check it out at the Nat Daddy Collectibles website, and please do follow us on the Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's get those subscribing numbers up a little bit more. All right, let's jump into some books here. First book, I think, which is definitely the book of the week, is the second issue of Cobra Commander from the Skybound Image imprint there. Love the way that they've been rebooting the Cobra stuff and the G.I. Joe stuff and Transformers and all kind of linking it together in this new Energon universe. Every issue, whether it's Cobra Commander or Duke or the Transformers stuff or even the Void Rivals, which is ended right now, has some kind of little surprise or neat little Easter egg in there in it. And this issue here is no different. We start off at the beginning of this issue where the Dreadnoks are interrogating some other kind of terrorist punks there, and they're actually chopping up a guy with a chainsaw. So again, this is definitely not your original type of G.I. Joe. It's definitely kind of a little bit more mature in that. So really loving that. Cobra Commander again is in the swamps there, looking for this new source of energy, Energon. He's tasked. He's been to leave Cobra Law to go amongst the humans there and become like a sleeper agent type of thing and infiltrate them and get this new energy and to build upon their. Make them even more powerful back there at Shangri-La, where we found out last issue there that Cobra Commander for years now has been kind of harvesting and salvaging technology from Megatron, of all things, to use for their society and that there. So that's kind of cool to see. We see I'm guessing it's the introduction of Nemesis Enforcer here. He's one of the characters, one of the bodyguards from the Cobra Law is sent out there to kind of accompany and protect Cobra Commander there, but in a human form. We don't really know what he looks like in his monster kind of mutated form. So this has been a great book so far. Really loving it. The way they introduce characters and especially characters that are very familiar in the past is awesome. Again, it weaves into with Transformers and the Void Rival stuff there. So if you haven't been checking this out, and I say it every week when I review one of these books, do check out the new Cobra Commander, G.I. Joe, Duke, Transformers, Void Rivals, all this Energon stuff together. So do check them out. Great book. Also this week I read digitally was from Dynamite. We have a new new series of Elvira books, which are always kind of quite enjoyable because they just kind of don't take themselves too seriously, just like Elvira herself. Very tongue-in-cheek and lots of comedy, breaking of the fourth wall and that. And this time around, she's kind of teaming up with H.P. Lovecraft himself, the master author, everyone's kind of main horror inspiration. So he shows up with her, wants her help to, again, help defeat some kind of elder god demon type of thing. So he's trying to convince her to work with her, and it's a lot of fun here. Like I said, a lot of tongue-in-cheek, risque stuff. It's kind of neat because H.P. Lovecraft was actually, we all know him for being this great horror writer and that, but he wasn't actually a great guy in that. He was kind of a racist and part of his own, part of the times that he came from and that. So a lot of that here kind of gets poked fun at as well too. So great artwork. If you're a big fan of Elvira, or for all people who are maybe not familiar with some of the Elvira stuff, like if you're a fan of Deadpool, you might like this because the stuff that Deadpool does, interacting with the audience, and that was done years before by her and that. So do check that out. Lots of fun. All right, that was what I read digitally this week. Let's jump right into what I read raw. We'll start off from Mirka and Adolfo, part of the Distillery line. This new publishing line here. We got Blasphemous. Again, as you can see here, it's one of those large, prestigious size. I really like Mirka and Adolfo's artwork in that. It's often quite sexy. Sometimes it could be cartoony, like almost like anime, almost like cheesecakey cartoony. Then other times it can be like this, where it definitely has more of a serious feel to it. The story in here is that pop idols have pop stars have have become like godlike deities, just because they're so worshipped, and that, especially with things like social media and that. So they just do everything possible to be these powerful and famous gods, and one of them is starting to be threatened popularity wise by a new up and comer in that. So she and her agent father, who's another kind of demon lord in that, are maybe going to go around and do some nefarious things there to make sure that she stays popular, and maybe kind of sabotage the other person's kind of career / new people worshiping and that. So the story itself kind of makes me think of like American Gods a little bit. So if anyone's kind of familiar with like American Gods, has a lot of comedy stuff in there that makes me think of what's that show? That show with Ted Danson and The Good Place, I think it was called. It kind of has that kind of supernatural, almost like realistic feel to it, humor wise. But it's the art in here that definitely grabs me and makes me want to definitely read more of this. So I will definitely check the following issues out, just because maybe the story will get a little bit better. But again, I'm a huge fan of the artwork in here. So Mirka and Adolfo's Blasphemous from Distillery. For Marvel, and again, this is one of those books I was kind of referring to that you need to do your FOCs to guarantee you get a copy of. Issue 1 of this is going for like $85. Some places I saw online in that. Normally, when I get my stuff like this, I don't really sell it off right away. I try to hang on to it. But people are wanting like $65 for their issue 1 of that. So I bit the bullet and sold my issue 1 of this. So I don't have a copy of that anymore. I do like the story in that, but when you buy things for $5 and people are scrambling crazy for it for $65 plus, a couple weeks later, sometimes you bite the bullet and just take the cash, because you don't know if that market's going to drop anytime sooner after that. So sometimes it goes up, and most of the time it drops. So it hasn't dropped yet, but this is another book that I saw was sold out at most places. I saw even by Wednesday evening that this book was already, some places or some people online were trying to sell it for $20 and $25. So again, I don't know if that's just a FOMO thing or not, but it is a great book, great story, great art. Chichetto's doing awesome art in here. I didn't care for so much the Ultimate Black Panther ones as of yet, but the Spider-Man reboot has been really great. Peter Parker is an adult. It's been 20 years since that moment where he was supposed to be changed into Spider-Man by the radioactive spider bite, but the maker stopped all that from happening back then. And now, in the last issue, at the end of it, we found out that the Ultimate Universe's Tony Stark showed up, gave Peter Parker the radioactive spider, gave him the choice that if you realize that your life is kind of missing, you realize you're supposed to be Spider-Man type of thing, and gives him the choice to use this. So he does use this. He does become Spider-Man, and now he's becoming Spider-Man in his mid to late 30s with 2 adult kids and married to Mary Jane. So great book so far. The characters around Spider-Man are also awesome in here too, what they're building and growing. Uncle Ben's still alive, him and Jonah are newspaper people. Great book so far. They give some references to the Green Goblin in here, but you don't outright see him. I'm really enjoying this so far, so I can see why it's a hot book, but it's kind of crazy for the prices that this is going for. Like I said, it is a bunch of FOMO, but another reason why to stick around for those FOC dates. From Image, we have issue 1 of the Infernals. Neat story here, something that we've kind of seen before. It's almost Shakespearean type of thing, almost even like a wrestling plot as well too. We have the son of the devil here. He's been on Earth all these years, and he's so even though he's the son of the devil, he still is human, and he's sick and dying from, I don't know if it's from cancer or just old age or whatever, but he's dying, and he's amassed this giant criminal empire. And now he has to decide on which of his heirs to pass it on to. So he has these children, and each of them are, I would say, kind of famous, fictional characters. And it's neat, it's in each of them represents kind of different, like, characteristics or personalities, things that you would see with sons and daughters, and powerful parents, and that none of these siblings like each other. They're all kind of different versions of the dad. And again, they're demons in that too. They're kind of like these demon offspring in that, but living in the human world, but again, hidden by these disguises and that. So kind of a neat story there. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this. Does sound kind of, like you said, familiar. It's like the father trying to figure out which of his heirs to take over the kingdom. But at the same time too, maybe it seems like he's just getting his kids all together here to maybe do one kind of major evil thing, to maybe use them somehow to maybe reverse his dying or something. So good start here. Again, like I said, kind of has that kind of a Sopranos feel to it as well. So. Infernals from Image. From Gold Key, we have issue 2 of Boris Karloff, the Gold Key Mysteries. This is very much an homage and has a lot of influences from the original Gold Key Boris Karloff stuff. Kind of has like your Crypt Keeper, Tales of Suspense type of thing. Really enjoyed it a lot. My friend Kelly Williams does the art for the main story on here. It's his art on the cover there. So what it is so far is there's a couple stories inside here, like anthology-wise, which you would see normally like in a House of Mystery or Evil Tales or Tales from the Crypt type of thing, which are always super enjoyable. But you have these connecting stories as well too, where it has shows how Boris Karloff and how he became like the caretaker or the host of this evil, I won't say evil, but of this mysterious mansion that pops up all around the world, and that again, it's like the House of Mystery and all those type of things that we see. But for the longest time, there's been like what's the best way to describe it? Kind of like this black bag government agency trying to get in there and harness his powers and that. And when it pops up somewhere, they popped up last time trying to look for it. So you don't see that part in this issue. You just see a couple stories of Boris Karloff, how he became like the keeper of this house, and a couple cool stories in here. So that's really neat too. So if you're a fan of like horror anthology stuff, definitely pick it up. Great artwork in here as well. Like I said, my friend Kelly Williams does do the art in here. But pretty cool stuff. Check that one out. From Gold Key, Boris Karloff. All right. From Image, we have issue 1 of the Six Fingers, I believe it's called. Yes, the Six Fingers. Neat book, as in the sense that it's not a sequel or it's not a prequel. It's a book to be read alongside of this book here, The One Hand, that came out a couple weeks ago. So you got Ram V doing that one, and on this one here you have Danny Waters doing the writing on that. So they're kind of working together in the sense that two stories taking place at the same time in the same universe. In this story here, it's about this young guy here. He's an archaeology student in New Nouveau, so it's in the future, this city. He's an archaeology student, and he's trying to get his thesis, and he's trying to get this dig approved, and he's not having much luck with it. And he wakes up one morning, and he's committed these horrible murders in the same style as a serial killer that has been captured 30 plus years ago type of thing. And now he doesn't remember doing it, so now he's trying to figure that out. So that's what's happened in this book. What happened in this book a few weeks ago, came out a couple weeks ago, was this guy here. He's the detective who spent his whole career catching that one serial killer, caught him and he's put him in jail, and now he's retiring. And now, like, all of a sudden, with the guy still in jail, this murder is happening. So now he's investigating this murder, who turns out to be this kid. The kid doesn't remember doing it. So kind of a neat thing there. Definitely some kind of something supernatural going on in there as well too. But neat book. Really enjoyed it. Here from Archie Comics, like I've been saying for a couple of years now, they're rebooting or kind of rebranding their Archie superheroes from all the previous years. I remember them being really dominant in the 60s and 70s. They have this Jaguar character. This year is a new take on the Jaguar character. It's a young woman who is a zoologist who happens to have taken on the mantle of this Jaguar. In the story here, it shows how she was kind of given the suit, and I can't remember now. It's just the suit of herself actually has some powers. These kind of Jaguar, Black Panther type of powers. And that's what it's like here. She's like a Black Panther type of superhero. In this story, she's been sent to this jungle in northern Peru because these wildcats are all being killed. She's part of a team of scientists and zoologists that are being sent there to see why this is happening. And she ends up taking on this supervillain that's killing these animals. It's kind of like the Vulture from Spider-Man type of characters. So neat start to this. Like how Archie is doing all this stuff. So I'm sure that these characters will connect, and they'll be like a Archie superhero universe. So the Jaguar, nice artwork too. From Oni Press, we have Samurai Kids Don't Die. Neat book here about these 4 kids in the future, how video gaming has taken it to the next level, where it's just like now, it kind of works out well timing-wise with Apple releasing that Vision Pro thing, the VR type of headset. Except in the future here, when you do that, you do it when you're sleeping. So these 4 kids, at night, they log into this online video game. It's kind of like a D&D type thing, and they're always working to complete this level and defeat this big baddie. One of these kids has had something traumatic happen in his life. They reference it, but they don't really say what it is. I'm assuming it's like a death of a family member or something like that. And one day he doesn't wake up from the game itself. He's kind of trapped in the game, and him and his friends now have to figure out what to do and how to get him out of the game, and see that he survives as well too. So neat book here. I do like the artwork, and like I said, it's kind of relevant with not just D&D stuff, but with how people get so submersive into video games, and even more now with this, like I said, these VR stuff and that. From Boom, we have The Displaced. Really enjoyed this book here. Neat kind of, I won't say Tales from the Crypt, more like a Outer Limits kind of story here, where this one town in Canada, actually, Oshawa, is just gets swallowed up one day. The whole town is has kind of like a rumble thing going on. They think it's almost like an earthquake, and the town itself disappears into this giant sinkhole. And then a little bit later, I believe it's the next day, there's kind of like an aftershock, and there's a little bit more rumbling, and then the sinkhole itself just disappears, and the areas kind of connect, like there was nothing ever missed there. So this story shows a few people. You see them on the cover there, who were are from where the Oshawa itself, but kind of were outside the city limits or outside this hole's limits when the incident did take place. One lady was out buying diapers for her baby in the middle of the night. A couple of people were just out, doing whatever they were doing at nighttime and that. And now they're dealing with this. Not only the hole itself, and everybody addressed this big hole. It was news all over the world and that. But now the next day, there with this other incident happening. Not only is the hole gone, but nobody remembers it. Nobody even remembers this happened, or the town itself was never there previously, or the sinkhole and that. So that's where these people are left off at the end of this issue. So quite like this, really neat. Kind of gives you that weird, like I said, that Outer Limits, Tales from the Dark Side type of feel to it. So The Displaced from Boom Studios. Like I said, those were some of the books I thought were amazing that kind of stood out this week. Kind of some things that might kind of get lost with all the other stuff that comes out this week. There's a couple of other books I thought were great reads as well. Like I said, Edge of Spider-Verse was a good one. Spider-Boy, I've been really enjoying that way more than I should. The DC, or not DC, the Justice League versus Kong Godzilla, that's a great one as well. So do check all those out as well too. All right. Lastly, before we go, let's jump into our FOCs. So books they need to order by Saturday evening to make sure you're guaranteed or at least hopefully get a copy of. Way improve your odds. And again, a lot of these books are relevant because of books that just came out today. So again, like Ultimate Spider-Man 2 just came out, right? So look right here. Now you can get your Ultimate Spider-Man 3 in. So make sure you guarantee for that. But let's start at the beginning. On March 20th, your books are from Image and your Boom. From Boom, you got this one called Man's Best. That's an awesome looking one. Dynamite, Oni, you get your Nancel 0, and that's like a jumping off point for much like they've done with, like if we were mentioning, that Energon universe. Nancel has the Biker Mars for Mars. What else do they have? I can't remember off the top of my head. There's so many of these companies all kind of merging in that. But so they're going to be showing off all their Universal products there. Biker Mars for Mars being one of them. Titan, your DC books, your AWA books. On March 27th, you got your Marvel books, which I also said, which has again Ultimate Spider-Man, and then your X-Men 97-91 or number 1, which is the first issue from that new animated series, which starts next month. And April 3rd, you got your IDW books. So those are all great books there you want to check out. Make sure you subscribe to hopefully one of your local stores so you can have a pull list and guarantee getting these. Not just getting these books themselves, but maybe there's certain covers that you want. Maybe there's special ratios that your store might not get and you want to get, and you have to talk to them about getting that stuff. So I know it's fun to maybe run around on a Wednesday to get stuff if you miss out, but it's also a lot better to just know that you're going to get it and not have to be like, oh man, I'm not going to get it. And then again, you don't have to be, like I said earlier too, paying $60 or $75 for a brand new comic that came out 2 weeks ago, which 4 or 5 weeks later down the road might be back down to $10 again because all the FOMO's died down. One other thing I want to mention too, I just saw this morning that mentioning with final order cutoff, and that is starting in June, July-ish, maybe at the latest, that DC will go back to releasing their books on Wednesdays, the same as everybody else, not just Tuesdays anymore. So that'll be nice too, to have everybody coming out at the same time. Not some stores were putting their DC stuff out Tuesdays, some weren't, so it'll be nice to get it all back to the same again. All right, everybody, that's what I read this week. Hope you enjoyed that. Also, hope you guys have been enjoying the Omni reviews I've been putting out lately. I've been trying to crank out as many as I can, but as you've seen, some of those Omnis, they're pretty thick. It's a lot to read, so right now I'm going to be finishing up the Alpha Flight one, and then I'm not sure what I'll jump into next. Maybe that Marvel Universe Handbook I picked up this week. So we'll see. That one might be a little bit of a dry read, but otherwise, we'll see you guys all next week. Pump up those subscription numbers if possible. I do thank you. Otherwise, peace out.